Howdy hey to all you pickle ricks out there. Welcome to the rundown on the 5th race of Pennsylvania Speedweek 2021. They sent them out to the 3rd mile, way out east, Grandview Speedway, kind of out more towards the Philadelphia, Allentown, Reading side of Pennsylvania, so still central, but kind of more out. One of the two sort of straggling tracks in distance-wise, being Grandview to the east and then Hagerstown to the southwest. Pretty good night of racing. I'm going to throw it out there right away. I called it on who's going to win the race, but let's worry about that later. Started off the night with hot laps, pretty easy, get the track worked in. Danny Dietrich went fastest. Go to time trials, only 27 cars showed up for Grandview, so they all just went in one session. Brent Marks was fastest, then Christopher Bell, Paul McMahon, that was the top 3 in the time trials after that run. So Brent Marks definitely coming out swinging. Last night really didn't show as much of the Brent Marks we've seen over the beginning stages of Speed Week. So seeing him back in form, definitely worth seeing the 19 car. And then Christopher Bell, strong at Grandview and in the Wendell Speed Lab car. No trouble. Paul McMahon, CJB, he knows what he's doing. Yeah. You go into heat number 1. Things got exciting right off the bat. Tony Fiore flipped his car in turn 1. Red flag comes out. He flipped so fast, so high, he didn't even damage the top wing. He was okay. So above all else, he saved himself, $600 on getting a replacement top wing. But, other stuff probably broke underneath, but he was okay, so they got it back going. Anthony Macri had some pressure from Freddie Raymer from the lead, the 51 and the 39M. They were close. I wouldn't say it was a battle, but they were racing each other, and Freddie never really got there. So Anthony Macri won, Freddie Raymer was second. Brent Marks got third in that one, so he had been inverted from being the fastest, and he started fourth. He finished third. And then Ryan Smith, Sam Haferteep, and Linton Jeffrey were the other 3 to transfer out of the first heat race into the A main. You go to heat number 2. Kyle Moody, TJ Stutz had a nice little battle early. So TJ Stutz started up at the front end of the grid and just kind of fell back slowly from the leaders. There was more and more of a gap in between going on. And I think Kyle Moody deserves a lot of credit because I personally didn't expect him to be swinging as hard as he was tonight. But the heat race and the feature, he did an excellent job, and we obviously will see where he finished in the feature in the end of this video. But for the moment, his heat race run was pretty strong. He had some heavy hitters to try to contend with, so he came home third in the end of heat number 2. Pretty quick heat, nothing really went down. Final order on that one was Rico Abreu, Justin Peck, Kyle Moody, Christopher Bell, TJ Stutz, and Austin Bishop. Heat race number 3, Danny Dietrich ran a pretty solid start, but he ran up to the wall in turn 4 early, hit the wall, and fell off the lead battle on the first lap. So Danny kind of fell out of the grasps of winning a heat race for this one, and so he didn't get to contend with Macri and Abreu, who both won heat races, their 3rd of the week. We saw a first-time heat race winner in this one, as Lance DeWeese was doing pretty well at the start and ended up pulling off into the inside of the racetrack. So unfortunately, the 69K didn't get to contend, but the lead battle was still pretty exciting. Larson and Kofoid, they were close, not super close, and Kyle Larson won his first heat race of the week. Buddy Kofoid finished 2nd, Paul McMahon 3rd, Danny Dietrich got 4th. Devin Borden got 5th, which I like to see. I think Devin's been pretty solid in getting the Hefner car underway. And last one to transfer from heat number 3 was Bradley Howard, which was excellent. Loved to see that because Bradley's been going through some technical issues these past few nights. I think every single night so far before Grandview, he had some sort of technical failure, mechanical retirement from action for the night at some point in the evening or another. So got right on into the feature race from his heat race, and that was good to see. So the B main, we were going to cut 3 drivers to get to 24 from 27. Lance DeWeese was broke. Anthony Fiore was flipped, so that left 7. And off the start, Ryan Taylor, blast off and gone. And he won the heat race. No trouble for Ryan. We saw one pretty interesting scenario where, so Aaron Bollinger was in a transfer spot, made contact. I don't know who. It was off screen, and I wasn't there, obviously, was not at Grandview tonight. I watched on Flow Racing, and Aaron spun a 360, kept the car going, but fell back out of the running, and unfortunately Aaron Bollinger had to pack it up from there. The transfers were Ryan Taylor, Tyler Reeser, Lucas Wolf, Justin Whittall, Jeff Halligan, and Sam Schlossberg. I hope I didn't botch that. It was the first time saw that name ever. I've never personally seen that name on a racetrack before, but so we sent home Bollinger, DeWeese broke, and Fiore was flipped. So you go to the main event, the A main feature. Brent Marks and Anthony Macri start on the front row, and Macri's on the inside, Marks on the outside. Turn 1, Macri gets a little bit ahead. By the time they get through 3 and 4, the outside line is rocking, and Brent Marks takes the lead. Brent Marks soars. That car was hooked up. Didn't really have any competition for a while. There was a huge pile-up in turn number 2. Well, I say huge, but it wasn't all instantaneous. So they were coming through turns 1 and 2. There was a little battle with Christopher Bell and Anthony Macri, and so Bell slid Macri, went up the track, but at that point in time already, Jeff Halligan had spun, so he was stopped up there. Bell slid into the 45, and they made contact. Bell comes off of him. He comes back down the racetrack a little bit. Paul McMahon, unfortunately, rolls into the 39. And then so when Paul McMahon made contact, he kind of moved and unfortunately hooked into and spun Justin Peck. All of that was kind of in slow motion, so nothing broke, no damage or anything for, I think McMahon maybe got a little bit, but nothing for Peck. He just kind of got spun. So it was a long instance of cars spinning. They got it all cleaned up. I think everybody stayed out on track, went back to green, and I was pretty impressed by Christopher Bell staying out on track. I know it's a smaller track, but Bell had some damage on the wing panel on his right side. So the outside wing panel was pretty badly bent up, but he still stayed in it, and I was, over the course of the entire feature, still impressed by his run. So he held on. There was a red flag pretty quick after, a lap or 2 after. So Buddy Kofoid flipped over, and it kind of created a junkyard in turn 3. Included in that wreck, Freddie Raymer, Ryan Smith, Austin Bishop, Devin Borden, and Linton Jeffrey were all involved in smaller or larger amounts with that one. Raymer, I know, was done. Obviously, Kofoid was done. Ryan Smith was done. Austin Bishop was done. Took a lot of cars off the racetrack. The restart from there was pretty clean and smooth sailing. Brent Marks still in the race lead. He's leading for quite a while. Macri's in second. He's got Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell right behind him. And so Anthony Macri's trying to hold them back. They catch up to lap traffic, and lap traffic just gets in Macri's way. It just slides into his way, and Kyle Larson goes the other way. And Kyle Larson moved into second. Danny Dietrich was able to take third, because by that point, Dietrich had passed Christopher Bell for position, and then Dietrich was able to pass Macri as well. And that was basically the end of Macri's chance to really contend with that top 3, because Dietrich and Larson were pretty far off and away from there. The last yellow was crucially important. So with 9 laps to go, Paul McMahon, something went wrong, something shut off, and the 5 car rolled to a halt, and that bunched everybody back up, with Brent Marks having a pretty solid lead, and lap traffic in there too. He lost all that, and that, even seeing that instantaneous moment, I knew, yeah, this is going to be a Larson type of deal. So they restart. They have 9 laps, and Larson got there slowly, took 1 or 2 laps. Larson takes the lead and runs the bottom really nicely one time and just goes, and he's gone. And Brent's been very strong, very consistent, with PA Speedweek, but it's Kyle Larson, you know, and it's tough to say that because a lot of people, Pennsylvania guys, like to see Larson get beat, but you know, as much as there's hate for Kyle Larson, I think there's a lot of respect for his abilities in literally any race car he drives. So Larson ended up keeping that one going, made that pass on Marks, and soared. So final top 10 rundown was Kyle Larson winning the race. Brent Marks finished second. Danny Dietrich finished third. Anthony Macri was fourth. Kyle Moody was fifth. Rico Abreu was sixth. Seventh was Christopher Bell. Linton Jeffrey finished eighth. Ryan Taylor was ninth. And Justin Peck rounded out the top 10 for that one. So now we get to talk about our power rankings. So as usual, I'll put them up on the screen. I updated them from Grandview, and here we have them. You look at the bottom of the list, there's a lot of guys who kind of have had consistency in the last few races and have had pretty solid results in the last few races that are sitting in the bottom of the list. So they're just kind of chilling with recent results. The algorithm obviously isn't set up to just look at one specific night. It looks at the entirety of the speed week so far, and in that case, they're all chilling up here. But look at the top of the list, no trouble. I mean, Brent Marks, that's not really even debatable. I mean, you could say Larson should be at the top because of the recent finishes, but if you're looking at the entirety of speed week, even with Larson showing up twice and having excellent results, don't get me wrong, excellent results. If you know, Brent Marks has won as many races as Larson has showed up to. So if you want to look at the entirety of the speed week, you know, Brent Marks is still holding on. Now, if Larson got a win again, it would be a completely different story. Larson's up there. I mean, Larson's hot. You know, if Larson carries momentum, it's going to be hands-off Larson. I mean, easy. So, but, you know, Brent Marks been pretty solid. You look to Danny Dietrich and Anthony Macri, third and fourth. They're both really consistent and solid. Danny Dietrich's been putting together good runs. Anthony Macri's been kind of up and down, but he's got stellar performances when he really is on it. And, you know, heat race wins make a difference and that kind of stuff for Anthony to be up there too. Christopher Bell, fifth on the list. You know, he deserved a lot of credit for what he did tonight in the feature. I mean, a broken wing, and he's still in the top running. You know, he ends the night in the top 10. He was running in the top 5 with it for a little bit of time, obviously. You know, he's not going to be able to pull as much speed, and he's not going to be able to pull it off quite as much with that car, but I gave him a lot of credit on my own for what he was able to do, and I think that was valuable and cool to see. So, as I said earlier, I was right. I called it. I thought Larson was going to win, and he did. And, you know, I think it'd be pretty easy to make a bet on that one, but Christopher Bell could have done it. Brent Marks almost did. And Brent, you know, carrying it for the posse tonight, and I think probably will continue to do that over the course of the week and into the weekend. So it should be cool to see what Brent Marks can do as they go forward. Port Royal is Wednesday night. First of the 2 Port Royal shows will be tomorrow, and that's going to be exciting. Port Royal is always a great facility. They do awesome stuff with that track to get it working in and have a nice track for the drivers in the feature. If you're looking at big names, obviously Brent Marks is hot. Kyle Larson, if he's going to be there, I'm not 100% sure personally. I'm pretty sure he's going to be there. So those two obviously going to be at the front end to watch, but you got to watch Anthony Macri. Macri is a godsend at Port. He can run that top side so well. He beats on the walls pretty good, but as long as the car stays together underneath him, Anthony Macri is always a contender at Port Royal. And my personal pick ahead of time of who I think would win this race, going to be a guy who's very consistent at Port Royal, has actually gotten second 4 times in a row, would be Logan Wagner. I feel like Logan's going to put it together, and I would be happy to see it. I like the Zemco team a lot. They're one of the big name teams in Port Royal and in the Port Royal scene, and just one of the big name teams in Pennsylvania overall. Logan had a pretty solid start to the week. He raced at Williams Grove, and so he'll be back on the scene, and that's my pick. So with that, I'll cut it to a close. Hopefully, those of you who got to enjoy Grandview from the track or on Flow Racing enjoyed it, and hopefully you found the video insightful. Port Royal's a great track. I like watching the races from Port Royal, and it's a beautiful facility. And Grandview was cool tonight too. I think Grandview held its own and definitely proved why it's on the calendar for PA Speedweek. So, it's been a good time. I wanted to go, but I did get Trey Shuttlesworth in there. I didn't get him in. He went on his own, but Trey Shuttlesworth, give him some credit. Trey Shuttlesworth Photography, link going to be down in the description, for helping me out with some of the content within this video. And yeah, so we'll look forward to talking to you guys again about Port Royal next time.